Sitting in FitWorkz hybrid training gym, talking about pre-workouts. I had a parent stop by last night. I was getting ready to head out the door of my club. It was kind of busy. I had a parent come up to me and say, hey, my 17-year-old is hung up on, all of his buddies are taking pre-workouts. He's hung up on, he wants to take one. He feels he needs to take one. I don't think they're safe. I've done some research. I looked at ingredients. What are your thoughts? And I said, well, a lot of the pre-workouts, well, first of all, are pre-workouts necessary? No. A lot of the pre-workouts are just heavy on stimulants and very high profit margin products. I can think of one particular product that was very similar in nature, if not the same as methamphetamine, and lo and behold, guess what? It worked like meth. And I think that company sold like $400 million, if I read the news right. $400 million in, I don't know, 5 years. That's an awful lot of money for a product that basically was a low cost to produce, low cost to put on the market, very high margin, high profit stimulant that wasn't safe. We can argue whether or not it's safe, and quite simply, methamphetamines wouldn't be considered as safe as a pre-workout. So no, I don't think pre-workouts are necessary. Today there's a lot of products loaded with anhydrous caffeine. There's a lot of products with stuff on the label you may not know what it is. If you're a drug-free competitor, for example, you may end up failing a drug test because you may have a substance that's IOC or WADA, World Anti-Doping Agency, banned. And it could be an over-the-counter product, and it could be a product that is perfectly legal today, and it may turn out that it may be made illegal later, or you can end up with a false positive and end up being prevented from competing or end up losing your placing if you did place an event. No, they're not necessary. I think we can question whether or not they're safe depending on what company, what brand, what product, and what's actually in there. I think it's a fairly legitimate question or concern to have is, hey, is this even safe? But for somebody that's 17, and this is what I said to Dad, I said if it was my son, I would tell him no. Obviously, when he's 18, he's going to do what he wants, right? It's good that you're active as a parent and looking at what is it he wants to take, what are the brands, what are the products, and doing some homework and learning about them yourself as a parent. But for the 17-year-old, questions I have, are you sleeping 7 to 8 hours a day? Or are you up gaming until 1 or 2 in the morning? Are you up on Facebook, social media, mobile, tablet, phone, or whatever until 1 or 2 in the morning? Are you drinking underage? Are you eating like a human garbage can and not eating food that's going to help you have a better workout? It's one thing to say, hey, I sleep right, I eat right, I train right with great consistency, yet I would like to up my game. What are the options? Maybe a pre-workout, assuming it's not meth, might be an option. However, until all those things are happening, it's not going to be a case of taking that one product's going to be the difference maker. It just doesn't work that way. So my opinion on pre-workouts is no, they're not necessary. They tend to be very high margin, meaning the companies that make them and sell them make an awful lot of money. We currently don't carry any pre-workouts. Sure, we have Monster Energy, which has a whopping equivalent amount of caffeine to like 1.5 cups of medium strength coffee. But that's really the extent of it. And that's coming from somebody that's trained over 1,000 athletes, approaching 80-some collegiate athletes, a couple professional athletes, and I don't know how many dozens of competitive bodybuilding, figure, bikini, physique competitors. It's just not necessary. Any questions from anybody out there? If you're watching and you're live and you've got questions, by all means, post them. Tim will read them. I'm happy to answer them here. If you're watching later on social media or YouTube, and hey, by the way, check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, FitWorkz.com/ or YouTube.com/FitWorkz DeKalb. We would love to have more friends. Malachi, come grab this. And then post your question. If you're watching later, go ahead and post it on social media, and we'll answer it in a future video. The next thing, and this came up a couple times, ironically, this week. It came up with the dad that I spoke to last night, and it came up in other discussions. Father Time. You can't discount, you can't discredit, you can't fail to pay any attention or place any value on doing something consistency for an extended period of time. For example, we used to get competitors that would come in and say, well, how is it you say you are a drug-free bodybuilding competitor and you look like that? And it's like, what do you mean? Well, I've been trying and I don't look like that. Or you squatted 505 pounds, or so you say. How is it you squatted that much weight? You were less than 170 pounds and I weigh more than that and I can only squat 400, or whatever it may be. The bottom line is you can't discredit, you can't fail to place value in the fact that if you do something consistently, and if that something is sleep right, train intelligently, and intelligent training means you have a plan, you have a goal, you have a plan, and you actually measure your progress relative to your goal. If you're not recording your workouts, if you can't say this week or for today's workout why you're better than the one last week, you're not getting it done. Okay, you're just not. But if you look at the individual, the athlete, the competitor that sleeps right, eats right, trains intelligently, has a goal, measure their progress towards their goal, and repeats for years on end, amazing things will happen. But those amazing things happen over a period of 5, 7, 8, or 10 years. There's no shortcut. You're not going to skip Father Time. You got to allow time and consistency with an intelligent approach to nutrition, and then also training, have time to work. You're not skipping it. We see a lot of younger people, or we also see in our club environment, we see a lot of middle-aged people, or even sometimes recently retired people asking, hey, I want this now. And our response is, hey, you spent a couple decades becoming who you are. You need to go get that changed. Tim, go tell Malik how to go in there. Just give me. So, all right, so we get to do it this way for this next part. So the next thing is the horse and the cart. Don't run the horse over with the cart. This came up last week. We were working with a client. His questions and concerns were about, go to the counter, Mal. Hey, do I need these supplements? Or what about this anti-stress? And what about my cortisol levels? And what about, taking this supplement because it's going to lower my cortisol levels? Like, hold on, wait a minute. Don't run the horse over with the cart. There's a lot of other really little things that you should be doing well first that don't cost any money, and the results are going to be much greater when the time comes where you actually do take this supplement. So don't run the horse over with the cart. Don't worry about, do I need this anti-cortisol? In all likelihood, no. I don't know when we've ever told somebody to take something like that. It's not to say there's some folks out there with adrenal fatigue and some other issues that maybe that makes sense, but for most people, you're going to get a lot out of consistent nutrition, consistent exercise, a lot more than getting hung up on, do you need this particular anti-cortisol supplement or this anti-estrogen supplement? By the way, if you're not taking hormones and you don't have an issue with estrogen, you probably don't need an estrogen blocker. And then you can question whether or not anything over the counter does that anyways. So again, don't run the horse over with the cart. Ray Binkowski, author of the brand new book, Exercise Galore. There's over 100 exercises, how to do them safely, correctly, in a way that produces results. There's 2 built-for-you training programs and instructions on how you can build your own. And also the author of Get Fit and Live Healthy and Eat by Color. If you're looking for a non-diet, no counting, no calories, no macros, no points approach to long-term nutrition, Eat by Color is the answer. Thanks for tuning in.